Okay, so you want to own a Michelin-starred restaurant. The pinnacle of culinary achievement, critics traveling from across the world to eat at your tables, $250 to $450 per person tasting menus, reservations booked 3 months in advance, your name mentioned alongside the culinary greats. You have achieved the highest recognition in the restaurant industry. You built something exceptional. Sounds like the perfect combination of art and commerce. And honestly, from the outside, it really does look that way. But here is what people who actually own Michelin-starred restaurants know, and what most people fantasizing about culinary greatness never tell you. A Michelin-starred restaurant is not a profitable business that happens to serve extraordinary food. It is a financially punishing pursuit of perfection where food costs run 38% to 48% of revenue instead of 28% to 32%, where labor costs consume 40% to 55% instead of 25% to 30%, where you employ 3 cooks to do the work of 1 because precision takes time, where a single star can cost you $200,000 to $500,000 annually in extra expenses to maintain standards that customers barely notice, where losing that star can cause revenue to drop 40% in 6 weeks while your costs remain fixed, and where 60% to 75% of Michelin-starred restaurants operate at a loss or break even, subsidized by the chef's consulting income, product lines, media deals, or second concepts that actually make money. The prestige is real. The economics are brutal, in ways that most people never see coming. Let's start at the beginning. When people say Michelin-starred restaurant, they are talking about one of the most exclusive clubs in the hospitality industry. The Michelin Guide, originally created in 1900 by the tire company to encourage automobile travel and thus tire sales, has become the definitive authority on restaurant quality worldwide. Michelin stars are awarded anonymously by professional inspectors who visit restaurants multiple times. 1 star means a very good restaurant. 2 stars, excellent cooking, worth a detour. 3 stars, exceptional cuisine, worth a special journey. Here is what surprises people who do not understand the system. You cannot buy a star. You cannot apply for a star. You cannot franchise a star. The star is awarded to the restaurant, not the chef. If the chef leaves, the restaurant can lose the star. If standards drop, the star is revoked. And Michelin does not tell you they are coming. As of 2024, there are approximately 3,400 Michelin-starred restaurants worldwide. About 2,800 have 1 star, 500 have 2 stars, and only 140 have 3 stars. In the United States, roughly 200 restaurants hold Michelin stars, concentrated in New York, California, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Miami. That is 200 restaurants out of approximately 660,000 restaurants in the United States. You are talking about the top 0.03%. And here is the financial reality that shocks most people. The majority of Michelin-starred restaurants are not profitable as standalone businesses. A study of European Michelin-starred restaurants found that 60% to 70% operate at break-even or small losses when isolated from the chef's other income streams. The star is not a business model. It is a marketing platform that enables the chef to monetize their reputation through consulting, endorsements, product lines, cookbooks, TV appearances, and additional restaurant concepts that subsidize the flagship. Before you spend a single dollar, you need to understand what it actually costs to open a restaurant capable of earning a Michelin star. Location. Michelin only covers select cities. If you open in Omaha or Tulsa, no matter how good your food is, you will not get a star because Michelin does not review there. You need to be in New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, Washington, D.C., or one of the few covered markets. Within those markets, you need a location that conveys seriousness. Michelin inspectors consider ambience, service, and setting as part of the evaluation. A 1,200 square foot casual space in a strip mall is not getting 3 stars regardless of food quality. You need 2,500 to 4,500 square feet in an upscale neighborhood or destination location. Lease rates in Michelin-covered cities for restaurant quality space, $80 to $250 plus per square foot annually. A 3,200 square foot space in a strong Manhattan neighborhood, $320,000 to $640,000 annually, $26,700 to $53,300 per month. In San Francisco, $200,000 to $450,000 annually. In Chicago, $120,000 to $280,000 annually. Let's model a 3,000 square foot space in a secondary Michelin market at $150 per square foot annually, $450,000, $37,500 per month. Build out and design. A Michelin-quality restaurant requires impeccable design, custom millwork, high-end finishes, professional lighting design, acoustics, flooring, furniture, tableware, stemware. Everything communicates refinement. Build-out costs for fine dining run $400 to $1,200 plus per square foot, depending on concept and location. A 3,000 square foot restaurant at $700 per square foot, $2.1 million. This includes full kitchen build-out with professional-grade equipment, dining room finishes, bathrooms, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, permits, and architectural/design fees. Kitchen equipment. A Michelin-level kitchen is not stocked with mid-grade equipment. You need precision. Combi ovens, $25,000 to $60,000. Sous vide immersion circulators, $800 to $2,500 each. You need multiples. Induction cooktops, $6,000 to $18,000. Walk-in refrigeration and freezers, $35,000 to $80,000. Blast chiller, $12,000 to $30,000. Plancha griddles, $4,000 to $12,000. High-end ranges, $15,000 to $45,000. Specialized equipment for molecular gastronomy or specific techniques, centrifuges, vacuum sealers, dehydrators, smoking guns, $15,000 to $40,000. Kitchen equipment total, included in build-out but representing $200,000 to $450,000 of that cost. Tableware and serviceware. Michelin-starred restaurants serve on custom or designer plates. A full set of china for 60 covers, custom designed or from brands like Bernardot or Dibern, $25,000 to $80,000. Glassware, Riedel or Zalto, $12,000 to $35,000 for a full set. Silverware, high-end stainless or silver-plated, $8,000 to $25,000. Table linens, napkins, custom tablecloths, $6,000 to $18,000. Total serviceware, $50,000 to $160,000. Wine cellar and beverage program. A Michelin-starred restaurant needs a serious wine list. Initial wine inventory, $80,000 to $300,000 depending on ambition. Wine storage, temperature and humidity-controlled wine cabinets or cellar, $15,000 to $60,000. Beverage inventory, spirits for bar program, $15,000 to $40,000. Pre-opening expenses. Hiring and training staff, soft opening events, menu development and testing, initial food inventory, permits, insurance, marketing, website development, photography, PR. $120,000 to $300,000. Let's add it up. Lease deposit and first months. $150,000 build out. $2,100,000 serviceware. $100,000 wine and beverage inventory. $180,000 pre-opening. $200,000 total investment to open a Michelin-caliber restaurant. $2,730,000. And that is before you have served a single customer or earned a single star. Most restaurateurs finance this with a combination of investor capital, personal funds, and debt. A typical structure, $800,000 to $1.2 million in equity from the chef and investors, $1.5 million to $2 million in debt. Now let's talk about revenue. How does a Michelin-starred restaurant actually make money or try to? Seating capacity. A 3,000 square foot restaurant has roughly 1,800 square feet of dining space after accounting for kitchen, bathrooms, entry, and storage. At 15 to 20 square feet per seat for fine dining, that is 90 to 120 seats. Michelin-starred restaurants typically operate at 50 to 75 seats to ensure space, service quality, and intimacy. Let's say 60 seats. Service periods. Fine dining typically operates dinner service only 5 or 6 days per week. Some add lunch service, but lunch fine dining is financially challenging. Dinner service, 1 seating or 2 seatings. A tasting menu-focused restaurant often does 1 seating because the meal lasts 2.5 to 3.5 hours. A la carte restaurants can turn tables, 2 seatings. 1 seating, 60 covers per night. 2 seatings, 90 to 100 covers. Occupancy rate. Top Michelin-starred restaurants run 85% to 100% occupancy on Friday and Saturday, 70% to 90% midweek. Let's model 80% average occupancy. At 1 seating, 60 seats, 80% occupancy, 48 covers per night. 6 nights per week, 288 covers per week, 14,976 covers per year, accounting for closures. Average check. Michelin 1-star restaurants, $150 to $300 per person for food, plus beverages. 2-star, $250 to $450. 3-star, $350 to $650 plus. Let's model a 1-star level restaurant, $225 per person food, $95 per person beverage. Total per person, $320. Annual revenue, $14,976 covers x $320, $4,792,320. That looks strong. But now let's talk about costs. Cost of goods sold. Food. Michelin-starred restaurants use the finest ingredients. A 5 Wagyu, sustainable line-caught fish, rare truffles, micro-herbs from specialty farms, edible flowers. Everything is top-tier and waste is high. When you are plating 18-course tasting menus with 3-gram portions of caviar and gold leaf garnishes, waste during prep is 25% to 40% by weight. Every dish is a composition. Precision means discarding imperfect components. Food cost as a percentage of revenue at Michelin-starred restaurants runs 38% to 48%. Regular fine dining runs 28% to 34%. At $4.79 million revenue and 42% food cost, $2,012,000 annually. Beverage cost. Wine and beverage programs run 25% to 35% COGS. At $1.42 million beverage revenue and 28% cost, $397,600. Total COGS, $2,409,600, 50.3% of revenue. A typical successful restaurant runs 30% to 35% total COGS. You are running 50%. Labor. This is where Michelin economics become punishing. Kitchen labor. A Michelin-starred kitchen operates with ratios of 1.5 to 2.5 cooks per cook needed at a normal restaurant. Why? Precision, complexity, and time. A line cook at a casual restaurant might plate 25 to 40 dishes per hour. A cook in a Michelin kitchen might plate 8 to 12 because each plate takes 4 to 8 minutes of intricate assembly, tweezers, precision saucing, micro-adjustments. You need a kitchen team of 18 to 28 people for 60 covers per night. Executive chef, $90,000 to $180,000. Sous chefs, 2 to 3, $55,000 to $85,000 each. Chef de parties, 6 to 10, $42,000 to $65,000 each. Commis and prep cooks, 8 to 12, $35,000 to $50,000 each. Dishwashers, 2 to 3, $32,000 to $42,000 each. Total kitchen payroll, $950,000 to $1,650,000 annually. Front of house labor. Michelin-starred restaurants operate with 1 server per 10 to 15 covers, sometimes as low as 1 per 8. Service is choreographed, synchronized, knowledgeable. Maitre d' or general manager, $70,000 to $120,000. Sommelier or beverage director, $60,000 to $100,000. Servers, 6 to 10, $45,000 to $70,000 each including base and service charge or tip pool. Hosts and support staff, 3 to 5, $35,000 to $50,000 each. Polishers, back waiters, food runners, 4 to 6, $32,000 to $45,000 each. Total front of house payroll, $550,000 to $950,000 annually. Total labor, $1,500,000 to $2,600,000. At $4.79 million revenue, that is 31% to 54% of revenue. A normal restaurant runs 25% to 32% labor. You are at the high end or beyond. Let's use $1,950,000, 40.7% of revenue. Rent, $450,000 annually, 9.4% of revenue. Utilities. Fine dining kitchens use enormous energy. Precision climate control for the dining room. Monthly utility bills, $4,500 to $9,000. Annually, $54,000 to $108,000. Laundry and linens. Daily tablecloth changes, napkin service, kitchen towels, chef coats. Commercial laundry service, $3,000 to $6,500 per month. Annually, $36,000 to $78,000. Smallwares and equipment replacement. Glassware breaks constantly. Plates chip. Knives need sharpening and replacement. Pots wear out. Small kitchen tools. $2,500 to $6,000 per month. $30,000 to $72,000 annually. Maintenance and repairs. Kitchen equipment servicing, HVAC maintenance, plumbing, electrical, furniture repair. $3,000 to $7,000 per month. $36,000 to $84,000 annually. Credit card processing fees, 2.5% to 3.5% of revenue. At $4.79 million, $119,750 to $167,650. Marketing and PR. Michelin-starred restaurants employ PR firms, invest in photography, maintain high-end websites, sponsor events. $4,000 to $12,000 per month. $48,000 to $144,000 annually. Insurance. General liability, property, workers' comp, liquor liability. High-end restaurants face higher premiums due to higher revenue and wages. $35,000 to $80,000 annually. Music licensing, professional services, accounting, legal, payroll processing, $25,000 to $60,000 annually. Licenses and permits, $5,000 to $15,000 annually. Flowers and decor. Fresh flowers daily, seasonal decor updates. $1,500 to $4,000 per month. $18,000 to $48,000 annually. Miscellaneous, supplies, cleaning, menus, business cards, $15,000 to $35,000 annually. Let's add it up at $4,792,320 annual revenue. COGS, food and beverage, $2,409,600, 50.3%. Labor, $1,950,000, 40.7%. Rent, $450,000, 9.4%. Utilities, $80,000, 1.7%. Laundry, $55,000, 1.1%. Smallwares, $50,000, 1%. Maintenance, $60,000, 1.3%. Processing fees, $143,000, 3%. Marketing, $90,000, 1.9%. Insurance, $55,000, 1.1%. Professional services, $40,000, 0.8%. Licenses, $10,000, 0.2%. Flowers, $30,000, 0.6%. Miscellaneous, $25,000, 0.5%. Total operating expenses, $5,447,600. You are losing $655,280 per year on $4.79 million in revenue. This is the brutal economics of Michelin-starred restaurants. Your COGS and labor alone consume 91% of revenue. After all other expenses, you are running at 113.7% of revenue. You are subsidizing a Michelin star with $55,000 per month in losses. And this assumes you have the star. If you are pursuing the star but have not yet earned it, revenue is 20% to 40% lower because you do not have the reservation demand, but costs are the same. Now let's talk about what kills Michelin-starred restaurants. The star economics trap. You open with the ambition of earning a star. You hire the talent, source the ingredients, build the service culture. You operate at a loss for 18 to 30 months. Total losses $900,000 to $1.8 million. You earn 1 star. Reservations increase. Revenue grows from $3.2 million to $4.8 million. But your costs also increased because maintaining star standards requires continued investment. You are still losing $400,000 to $700,000 annually. Investors or lenders lose patience. They want profitability. You cut costs to break even. Food quality slips from 95th percentile to 88th percentile. Service becomes slightly less polished. Michelin inspectors notice. You lose the star. Revenue drops 35% to 45% within 8 weeks as reservations cancel and prestige customers move on. You are now losing $1.2 million annually on $3.1 million in revenue. You close within 12 months. Total capital destroyed, $3.5 million to $5 million. Chef departure. Your restaurant earns 2 stars under the leadership of your acclaimed chef. The chef's reputation grows. A hotel group offers them $500,000 annually plus equity to open a flagship restaurant. They leave. Michelin reevaluates. The restaurant drops to 1 star or loses stars entirely. Revenue declines 30% to 50%. You scramble to hire a replacement chef of equal caliber, but top talent costs $200,000 to $350,000 annually, and they want creative control and equity. You cannot afford them. You hire a less expensive chef. Standards continue to slip. You close within 24 months. Economic downturn. A recession hits. Corporate expense account dining evaporates. High net worth individuals cut discretionary spending. Tourism declines. Your customer base, 40% local wealthy, 30% business expense accounts, 30% destination diners, shrinks. Revenue drops 30% to 40%. You cannot cut costs proportionally without destroying quality and losing the star. You operate at catastrophic losses, $1.5 million to $2.5 million annually. You survive 8 to 14 months on reserves, then close. Critical review or food safety incident. A prominent food critic publishes a scathing review, not of the food, but of the pretension, value proposition, or service missteps. Or a celebrity diner has a bad experience and posts about it to 8 million followers. Reputation damage spreads. Reservations decline 15% to 25%. Revenue drops but costs stay fixed. Or worse, a food safety incident. A customer gets food poisoning, confirmed to be from your restaurant. Health department investigates. Even if you are cleared, the publicity is devastating. Reservations drop 40% to 60%. Revenue collapses. You close. Investor or partnership conflict. You opened with investors who provided $1.8 million in capital. The agreement gives them 60% equity. You retain 40% and creative control. After 3 years of losses totaling $2.1 million, investors' demand changes. Cut costs, simplify the menu, increase covers, reduce labor. You refuse. Doing so would cost the star. Investors vote to remove you as chef or force sale of the restaurant. You are bought out for $200,000. You lost your restaurant, your star, and years of your life. Let's talk about the chefs who make Michelin-starred restaurants work financially. They do not expect the restaurant itself to be profitable. They view it as the marketing engine for a culinary empire. The restaurant operates at break-even or small loss, subsidized by consulting, $15,000 to $50,000 per day for restaurant consulting, menu development, or appearances. 20 to 40 days per year, $300,000 to $2 million. Cookbooks and media $100,000 to $800,000 per book advance. TV shows, streaming deals $200,000 to $2 million annually for celebrity chefs. Product lines, sauces, spice blends, cookware, branded products sold retail $150,000 to $3 million annually in royalties. Additional restaurant concepts. The flagship is the Michelin-Starred monument. The chef also operates 2 to 4 casual concepts, bistros, fast casual, ghost kitchens, that actually generate profit $300,000 to $1.5 million annually combined. The Michelin-Star gives them the platform to command these fees and launch these ventures. The star is the credential, not the business. They operate in low-cost markets or negotiate favorable lease terms. A chef who earns a star in Copenhagen or Bangkok operates with 40% to 60% lower occupancy costs than New York or San Francisco. Or they negotiate rent as a percentage of revenue, 8% to 12% instead of fixed. If revenue is strong, rent is manageable. If revenue declines, rent declines proportionally. They control costs fanatically without sacrificing quality. They source ingredients directly, bypassing distributors. They reduce menu complexity, 9-course tasting menu instead of 16, cutting labor and waste. They operate 5 nights instead of 6, concentrating demand and reducing labor. They achieve celebrity and leverage it. The chef becomes a brand. They are recognized globally. The restaurant is always booked because people want to eat the famous chef's food. Demand pricing allows $400 plus per person menus. Revenue increases while covers stay fixed. They sell at the peak. After earning a 2nd or 3rd star and operating for 5 to 8 years, they sell the restaurant to a hospitality group for $5 million to $15 million. The buyer acquires the star, the brand, the location, and the team. The chef stays on as creative director, earning $300,000 to $800,000 annually, but no longer carries financial risk. Let's run the numbers 2 ways. Best case scenario, celebrity chef with diversified income. You open a Michelin-caliber restaurant. Investment $2.9 million. You operate for 30 months before earning 1 star. Cumulative losses during pursuit $1.4 million. Total invested $4.3 million. With the star, revenue stabilizes at $5.2 million. Operating expenses $5.35 million. Annual loss $150,000. But you are earning $1.2 million annually from consulting, media, and product deals enabled by the star. Net, you are earning $1.05 million annually. By year 8, you earn a 2nd star. The restaurant becomes globally recognized. You sell for $12 million to a hotel group. After paying investors their 55% equity stake, you net $5.4 million from the sale. Combined with 8 years of $1.05 million in net income, $8.4 million, your total return is $13.8 million over 8 years. You invested $1.3 million personally. You netted $12.5 million. The restaurant was the loss leader. The empire was the profit. Realistic scenario, chef owner without diversified income. You open a Michelin-caliber restaurant. Investment $2.7 million, $900,000 of your own capital plus investors. You operate for 3 years pursuing a star. Cumulative losses $2.2 million. Investors are frustrated. You earn 1 star in year 4. Revenue increases to $4.5 million. Operating expenses $5.1 million. Annual loss $600,000. You do not have media deals or consulting income. The restaurant is your only venture. You are subsidizing losses from savings and investor capital. By year 5, investors demand changes or exit. You refuse. They force a sale. The restaurant sells for $2.8 million as a distressed asset. After paying back investors' capital and preferred returns, you receive $180,000. You invested $900,000 personally. You worked 5 years, 80 to 100 hours per week. You lost $720,000. The difference between those outcomes is the chef's ability to monetize the platform the star creates beyond the four walls of the restaurant. The global Michelin-starred restaurant industry encompasses roughly 3,400 restaurants, generating an estimated $25 to $35 billion in combined annual revenue. The vast majority are loss leaders or break-even operations subsidized by other income. There are chefs who have built $50 million to $200 million net worths, Alain Ducasse, Gordon Ramsay, Thomas Keller, not from their Michelin-starred restaurants' profits, but from leveraging those restaurants' prestige into global hospitality empires. But the median Michelin-starred restaurant operates at 2% to 5% net loss as a standalone entity, subsidized by the chef's other ventures or wealthy backers who view it as a vanity project. The people who succeed understand the star is a credential, a marketing platform, not a profit center. They build diversified income streams. They control costs without sacrificing the details that earn the star. They operate in markets with lower cost structures. They sell at peak value. The people who fail believe culinary excellence equals financial success. They pour everything into the restaurant. They do not diversify income. They operate in the most expensive cities with the highest rents. They underestimate how much it costs to maintain star-level standards. They run out of capital after 3 to 5 years and close, having burned $2 million to $5 million chasing a dream. The kitchen produces dishes automatically once the team is trained. The reservations flow in once the star is earned. But the restaurant does not run itself. And it certainly does not pay for itself.